Blog Talk Radio.
Yes, you are now listening to the sound of the shofar blowing. The shofar is a ram's horn that is blown to inspire the people to do their thing. And the shofar is blown to coronate a queen or a king. And today the shofar is being blown to call us to let go and let Goddess. This is Faux Show Holistic Health on Blog Talk Radio. And I'm your host, Shophar, from Faux Show Energy Work. And our guest today is Lady Shepsa. She is a writer, teacher, life coach. She's a mother. She's a juju woman who helps other women dive deep into their feminine and for healing and manifestation. And she's also the next guest on Faux Show Holistic Health. Let's bring her on now. Peace, sis. How you doing?
Peace. I'm well. How are you doing?
Doing very well. Doing good. Thank you. You're over there, I believe, in the East Coast. Is it New York?
Yeah, I'm in Brooklyn, New York.
Okay. Yeah, it's trying to stay cool. Then I know you had posted about having a back full of sweat.
Yeah, it's been real, and I love the summertime, but just like, I think it's different when you have like easy access to like some water to dip into. Like if I had like a little ocean, I could walk to a little river, that'd be cool. But, when it's like 100+ degrees and you're in a concrete jungle, it's a little hard to deal with.
Got it. No question. And you ain't trying to necessarily go jump in the waters at Coney Island or nothing.
I mean, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Yeah.
No, I feel you. Okay. Well, that's what's up. Well, as the family know out there that's tuning in right now and everything, we always like to, at the end of the show, we're going to leave some space for you to be able to leave, your website and your social media contact information, and then also let everybody out there, let the family know what you got going on. But for your backstory and all of that, we're going to put some links. But I'd like to just go ahead, since we only have 30 minutes, go ahead and jump right in this. So I want to ask you, first off, Lady Shepsa, is what exactly does it mean to let go and let Goddess? Let's start there.
Oh, great question. So what that means for me and why I named my business after that is really just encouraging, first, myself, because, it's a lesson. What I share are things I had to learn to do myself, but to basically surrender to the feminine, to be able to let go and surrender to the feminine within, the Goddess within you. That is a reflection of the divine feminine principle that runs through all creation, and to be able to let go into that divine feminine energy. So for me, that's basically what it means.
Got it. So to surrender to the feminine, because I know from your posts and things like that, that's been a big part of your journey, is learning how to do that more.
Yeah, absolutely, and it definitely is it's a daily thing. I always believe healing comes in layers like an onion. So I don't know if we ever get to a point where we have quote unquote arrived, and maybe we do. We just transition out of the plane, but I think there's always layers to healing, to evolution, to realization. So. Yeah, for me, definitely has been about, learning to surrender, learning to trust the feminine, the process, and sometimes just surrender. Sometimes you don't know, what's going on or how something's going to turn out, but to just trust that everything is working toward your highest good, no matter what it may look like right now.
That's a big word that you said right there, is that trust one. Because I know that there's a lot of things in society, both our own programming and then societal, ancestral, that causes us not to really trust ourselves. So can you go a little bit deeper into that? How are some of the ways that we can get in contact with, trusting ourselves more?
Well, that would be getting into the feminine. I mean, because the feminine is about that. I would say the masculine would represent more so kind of like logic and reasoning and needing to know, everything, needing to connect all the dots. And the feminine would be more so about relaxing into the mystery and to realize that, there is a higher plan, a higher thread that's connecting everything, and to be able to surrender to that higher knowledge, to that, whether you call it your higher self, the universe, Mother, Father, God, what you want to call it your ancestors, however, it works out for you, or all of the above, but to be able to trust in the divine mystery, and for me, that requires getting still and getting out of my head, because, we live in a very Western culture, and it prides the intellect and logic and reasoning over intuition, over spirit, over the feminine energy. And not that anything is wrong with reason or logic or intellect. Those are faculties that we obviously have for a reason. But when we solely, depend upon that, we limit ourselves, So we want to be able to really go deeper, into spirit. And for me, that requires getting still, cutting off, the intellect, the head, and be able to get into the stillness of spirit so that I can receive the messages, the downloads, the visions, or just get quiet and relax and just allow it to come, as opposed to trying to force something into being.
That totally makes sense. I mean, like you said, getting still, which I know in a society that has many of us working 40-plus hours, that's like a regular thing. Mm-hmm. That's not even including travel time. Like I said, I always laugh, like when we talk about we work 40 hours, I'm like, yeah, but what about the getting ready time, the travel time?
Yes,
more than that.
Exactly.
When you
then you got to come home and unwind, and if you got kids, take care of kids, and all of that. Yeah.
Right. It really has us stretched to the edge there. And so to surrender to the mystery, though, I love that, because we do live in a society, and like you said, there's nothing wrong with it. As a matter of fact, I just came back from Santa Clara, and there was a big conference there, actually San Jose, and it was beautiful. It was kind of like a mixture of science and spirituality, but it was a little bit more focused on the science, and it was very interesting just to hear how science, like for instance, one of the last talks that I remember was the science of what they call grounding, like, putting your feet on the ground and everything. And I'm like, that's beautiful that we're finding the science to prove, but I mean, how many indigenous people around the world
right
have already been telling us that, and they don't have anything to measure it. They just go by their own feelings. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. But
one of the things that I want to speak on too, that I feel like actually helps us to maybe bridge things, is sexuality. So one of the things you said on your Instagram was, when we are well fed sexually, everything in our life flourishes. Can you explain a little bit about that?
Yes, absolutely. So first of all, understanding what sexual energy is, it's life force. It is the actual energy of creation. Like, there would be no human beings if there was no sex. We have to have sex dysfunctionally to live, to be, to, as a human race, to populate the earth. We need sex. So, aside from just that physical function, think about how powerful it is, like the energy that it takes to create a human being. It's really a miracle that, science actually does not understand, what causes that spark of, life to happen in a woman's womb. So that sexual energy, it is the life force energy that brings human beings together to procreate, but it's also the energy that is flowing through nature. Right now in New York, I guess in the States in general, it's summertime, so it's really hot. And right now here it's raining. Everything is very fertile and ripe, and, that is sexual energy. The Taoists believe that our sexual energy actually keeps us young and rejuvenated. So in the same way that if it rains, like it's raining now, that rain is going to cause the garden the flowers, the trees, whatever, to grow and to flourish and to prosper and to become ripe. And the same thing happens when we water ourselves with our sexual energy, because it is life force. We too, flourish and become prosperous and, and healthy. So it's very important beyond, of course, the sexual pleasure part is highly important, but it is also, a way to nourish ourselves and to keep us young and healthy. If you think about, any kind of like elderly people that are kind of like fresh, and like sexy, they have a lot of beautiful energy, but the people who are like asexual and mean, they all dried up, so that sexual energy will keep you young, will keep you youthful, will keep you vital if you have an understanding how to cultivate it and a healthy connection with it.
Amen. Family, go back, listen to that. Keep them juices flowing for sure. No, it is true. I do see that in general. That is a very true thing that you said there, is that there are, when we're out of tune with that or whatever, it does tend to cause us to dry up some, or to be more just frustrated and everything. One of the things I like that you said there too is to nourish and water yourself. And you say on your Instagram page that your yoni, your juiciness, your orgasm are for you first. So I think some women out there maybe need to hear that a little bit and have you go into that a little bit. Could you expound on that a little bit?
Yes. So growing up in a society, which is very patriarchal, male-dominated, when you are a young girl, you're never taught that you should enjoy sex. Like, it's never like, oh, here's sex. This is something that you should enjoy first, and you should self-pleasure and masturbate, and that your sexual energy is for you. No, you're taught that, oh, your sexual energy, for the man, for the man's pleasure. If you look at porn, most porn is from the gaze of the male. It's centered upon the male's pleasure. You see the male ejaculating all over the place, but you rarely see the woman who's actually having an authentic orgasm. It's very much so about, this female object that is there for the man's pleasure and to make him feel, like a stud or whatever. So for a lot of women, we grow up with the idea that, like my sex is for a man, to make him happy, to please him, to keep him, like this foolish concept that sex will keep a man, and it will not. So we are not fed in growing up with a healthy connection to our own sexual energy for our own pleasure first. It's always attached and associated with a male, with a partner, so that they can enjoy themselves, but never for our own, healthy expression of our own sexual desire and orgasmic nature.
Totally. Makes a lot of sense to me. And I want to point out to the family that you just touched on, to just even highlight that more, is like always just necessarily said outrightly. This is something sometimes it can be more insidious, and that the young woman, the young lady, the young girl picks up on super consciously. Subconsciously, it's like she's constantly being told that she doesn't count, but it'd be sexually in other ways. And so it may not be someone just blatantly saying it to her, although that happens sometimes too, but this is something very important, because that means that she's now programmed in a way that she may not even be able to put her finger on where it started or why she's the way she is.
Exactly. Yeah, good point. It's definitely programming, definitely subconscious. If you look at the images in popular culture and the messages in the music, and it's very much so female body is like a sexual object to be conquered and to be controlled. And sometimes it's caused away, when they're done. And like your sexuality is important, because that's what can bring a man to you. So that can help magnetize a man to you, which would bring you maybe financial benefits or whatever. But in terms of actually just enjoying your own sexual energy for yourself, and also enjoying that you also too should enjoy sex, and your pleasure should be the center of that experience, and not just as an object to be manipulated or just for somebody else.
Makes a lot of sense. Wow. Definitely. If the family, if you're listening out there, if you're taking what she's saying, really you can meditate on it or go, really just ponder on what it is that she's saying, but it can definitely be something that can lead to healing, even just accepting and feeling those words inside yourself and your body and everything. Let's talk a little bit about opening the heart, because I know especially for the feminine, for those ladies out there who are finding themselves, it's like, okay, that's all well and good, that sounds very good, but how do I find my way back? And so one of the biggest blocks to intimacy, and this is, again, got this off of your Instagram, is one of the biggest blocks to intimacy is in not having an open heart. And then you also went into about the breast and the positive or yang center for women. Can you explain that to the family a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So in Taoism, I'm in Tantra as well, the heart center is considered to be the active center within women, or yang center, as you said, right? That's where women give from. If you think about, the breasts are also considered to be the wings of the heart in Taoism. So the breasts are a direct extension of the heart. So if you look at the breasts, what do? They hang outside of our body. They're external. So they're more yang, they're more active, right? So the yoni,
right,
the vagina, is more internal, right? We can't really see. We got to, get mirror if we want to see what's going on down there. Those is much more of a mystery, so that would be the more yin, aspect of our feminine energy. So within Tantra, within Taoism, it's believed that in order to awaken the yoni, then you first need to awaken the breast heart center. Get the energy flowing there first. So for many women, we kind of have experienced this already. If you enjoy having your breast massage or having your lover suck your nipples, then, men will probably, notice this as well. It gets the juices of the yoni flowing, because that breast center is the active center to wake up the sexual energy within the yoni. In the same way that when a woman is breastfeeding, the hormones are emitted from that act, and it causes the uterus to contract back to normal size. So, there's a physiological connection to the heart, breast, and to the womb as well. So for many women, we've experienced, which most of us have, we experience heartbreak or some type of trauma. That energy can become stuck in the heart center and then flow down to the womb. And this is part of my own my own experience, and studying this, but also experiencing it myself. So I believe that if we don't heal a lot of the issues of the heart, trauma, heartbreak, things like that, then that blocked energy can actually flow down to the womb and can create disease, such as painful menses, fibroids, endometriosis, things like that. Also, of course, we also have direct womb trauma, as well. So a beautiful way to help to, heal that is to connect to the breast, is connect to the heart center to help to, bring balance to that energy field, so that then the womb can then feel safe and comfortable enough to open. Because a lot of us, that energy in the womb is very cold and it's very contracted. And if you have a cold womb, according to the Taoist beliefs, you're going to experience menstrual cramps and you're going to experience infertility, because the womb needs to be warm. Not too hot, not too cold, but, warm. Just as a man's testicles should be cool. If a man's testicles are, too warm, that's why they're outside of their bodies, and the man's going to have trouble, doing his part and making the baby. So it's a balance So the man is actually the opposite. He is active, and his yang center is his penis. So the woman receives his yang energy through her yin portal, her womb, her yoni, and his yin center is his heart. So he receives the love and energy of a woman through her heart center to his heart center that helps to awaken that energy of love within a man that he needs for his own balance.
Science, family, science. That's one of the things that I want to point out. Like I was talking earlier about that conference and everything, but these are some ancient sciences that the sis is breaking down for us here. And I love what you said what you just said in that last part about how the active nature of the heart center can awaken and stir something in the man. And I would postulate that here on this planet, that there's not the state of the world, to me, is evidence enough that not a lot of men are being stimulated in that way. It's not that the women aren't giving out that energy. I've always seen that energy coming from women quite a bit. I think, unfortunately, because of lack of rites of passage and from men, us just not knowing, that there's not a lot of men who actually know how to be in a place to actually receive that energy. Yes.
It's very scary for a man.
Yes.
It can be. Yeah. That heart center, because that is his receptive center. It is his vulnerability. One of my teachers said, be as careful with a man's heart as you would want somebody to be with your yoni. It's very similar because it can be very scary for a man to enter that heart. Because in this Western society, we're taught that things that are feminine are weak. So emotions are weak. Women are, quote unquote, weaker sex. So for a man to have this open heart feels like a weakness. And it's like, I can't, if you ever met a man or, when men experience heartbreak, oh, Lord. It's like, whoa, like, how dare she do this to me? I've seen women experience too, but I feel like a woman will process a heartbreak much faster because our emotions just bubble up within us and we kind of process it. We move through it very quickly. But a man will suppress his emotions because he's not taught to really be in touch with them. He's more by his head, so it's a little bit scary to enter that emotional place. So, you'll find men who have a really hard time healing from heartbreak and will be very resentful of one woman who, broke his heart or violated his trust, and it'll be very hard for him to open and to trust again.
Oh, yeah. I just was in the gym last night, and one of the songs that was playing, the lyrics went something to the effect where the guy was saying that the reason why he is the way now, sleeping around and basically being with one of the masters I learned from, he calls it a demon lover, basically, is because he got his heart broke. And yeah, and that was the hook of the song. I was like, wow. It's like, man, kind of. So we know these things, but we don't. How do we come back from them? So I love that. That's the work that you're doing, is to help people come back to it.
Yes, that's the goal.
Beautiful. Well, you know what? Time always kind of flies by pretty quickly, and we're already at the 5-minute mark. So, and I'm. Oh, one other thing I do have to say real quick though, again, family, go back and listen, because where you were talking about the heart and then how the energy can go down to the womb, maybe cause fibroids or these other things that go on in the womb space. Painful menses. I want to point out to the family out there, this sister hasn't, had a painful menses in what I think you said 5 years.
Yeah, and even overall, collectively, probably longer than that, because that was like a heartbreak. That's how I learned that heartbreak, oh wow, can cause wound trauma, because it was the heartbreak and I had a very painful cycle. But prior to that, it probably had been a couple of years since I had any type of painful menses. So, yes, my menstrual cycle is nice and easy.
Love it. Love it. Well, cool. Well, what I want to do for you now is allow you to have the space to tell the family about any events, workshops, any endeavors you got coming up, and then, how they can get in contact with you. And then also one last gem or whatever's on your heart to just leave the family to ponder on.
Absolutely. Thank you. So, Lady Shepsa, you can find me at letsgoletgoddess.com. So it's pretty much let go, let goddess. All my social media for Instagram, Let Go, Let Goddess, Facebook, Let Go, Let Goddess. And if you sign up for my newsletter at my website at letgoletgoddess.com, you'll get the latest updates that I have going on, my blogs, my classes. I actually have a program that's beginning July 31st on the new moon for women called Sensual Goddess Boot Camp, and this will take you into a deep dive for 30 days into your feminine energy and your sensual and sexual energy. So you can go to my Instagram, Let Go, Let Goddess, and there's a link in my bio. You can click that link to find out more about Sensual Goddess Boot Camp. Sign up. It's an amazing program. It's my most popular program. I've literally had, well over 100 women who have done this program and have seen great results. So if you want to open your heart, heal your womb, heal your yoni, but also open up to more pleasure, deeper and more powerful and healing orgasms, then Sensual Goddess Boot Camp is for you.
Wow. And anything you want to, last little thing that you want to leave the family with, a little piece of wisdom?
I guess that, that being in touch with your heart, for men and for women is very valuable, because you have a lot of people who kind of just focus on the pleasure side, which is medicine. Pleasure is medicine. However, we want to take our orgasm and our pleasure not just have it located in our genitals, but expanding throughout our entire body. And if the energy can't move past the heart, then you won't be able to experience the full body orgasm. So having that open heart, is like a doorway that can take you into deeper pleasure and also higher states of consciousness. So let's all heal our heart and open to more pleasure and joy.
Ashe, Aho, amen. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right. Well, definitely, sis, again, family, you're listening to Lady Shepsa, and I appreciate you coming on. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Oh, it's an honor. It's an honor. Always an honor to have someone of your ilk, of your abilities and stuff online and explaining to, in this times, especially much needed. So definitely appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, no doubt. And again, family, this is Faux Show Holistic Health on Blog Talk Radio, and I'm your host, Shophar, from Faux Show Energy Work. And thank you all for checking in, too. We love each and every one of y'all. Keep an open heart and keep shining, keep climbing.